When people think about the most successful investors of all time, one name almost always comes first: Warren Buffett. Known as the Oracle of Omaha, Buffett turned a modest upbringing into one of the greatest financial stories in history. He's not only one of the richest people alive, but he's also considered the most successful investor of all time. Unlike tech billionaires or entrepreneurs who built fortunes by creating companies, Buffett's wealth came primarily through investing. So how exactly did he do it? And more importantly, what can we learn from his journey? Today, we'll explore Warren Buffett's life, his investing philosophy, and how everyday investors, even here in Canada, can apply his lessons. Warren Buffett was fascinated by money and business from an early age. Growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, he sold chewing gum and Coca-Cola door to door, delivered newspapers, and even ran pinball machines in barbershops. By the time he was a teenager, he had already saved and invested thousands of dollars, a small fortune for his age. But the turning point came when Buffett attended Columbia Business School, where he studied under Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing and the author of The Intelligent Investor. Graham's teachings about intrinsic value, margin of safety, and disciplined investing shaped Buffett's worldview. After graduating, Buffett worked for Graham's investment firm, where he refined his approach to analyzing companies and understanding markets. But Buffett didn't simply copy Graham's strategy. He evolved it. Graham believed in buying undervalued companies, even if they were mediocre, as long as they were cheap enough. He called this cigar butt investing, picking up discarded companies with just a puff or two of value left. Buffett, however, realized that buying great companies at fair prices was far more powerful. He famously said, "It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price." This shift in philosophy became the cornerstone of Buffett's investing success. So what does a wonderful company mean? For Buffett, it's a business with a durable competitive advantage, or what he calls an economic moat. A moat protects a castle from invaders, and in the same way, a strong business moat protects profits from competitors. Examples include trusted brands like Coca-Cola, financial giants like American Express, or insurers like Geico. These companies have advantages that are hard for competitors to copy, allowing them to earn consistent profits over decades. Buffett's philosophy was simple: find these kinds of companies, buy them at reasonable prices, and hold them for the long term. This is exactly how Buffett built Berkshire Hathaway, his legendary investment company. Interestingly, Berkshire didn't start as a success. It was actually a failing textile mill that Buffett bought in the 1960s. Over time, he realized the textile business was doomed, but rather than walking away, he used Berkshire as a holding company to buy other businesses. Through Berkshire, Buffett invested in household names like Coca-Cola, American Express, Apple, and Dairy Queen, along with railroads, utilities, and insurance companies. What began as a struggling textile manufacturer became one of the largest and most valuable companies in the world. Buffett's success wasn't just about picking stocks, it was about patience and compounding. He often says that his favorite holding period is forever. Unlike traders who constantly buy and sell, Buffett holds investments for decades, letting compounding returns do the heavy lifting. For example, Berkshire's stake in Coca-Cola has been held since the late 1980s. The dividends alone now pay Berkshire more each year than the original purchase price. That's the magic of long-term compounding, and it's one of the biggest secrets behind Buffett's immense wealth. Another critical part of Buffett's wealth-building story is his lifestyle. Despite being one of the richest men in the world, he's famously frugal. He still lives in the same house in Omaha that he bought in 1958. He's known for eating at McDonald's, drinking Coca-Cola daily, and driving modest cars. This isn't just personality, it's philosophy. Buffett believes in living below your means and letting excess money compound. His personal life mirrors his investing strategy: patience, discipline, and simplicity. So what are Buffett's main secrets? There are a few key principles that every investor can learn from. First, focus on businesses you understand. Buffett calls this your circle of competence. He avoids investing in industries or companies he doesn't fully understand, no matter how trendy they seem. Second, always think long-term. Buffett isn't concerned with short-term price swings. He cares about the underlying business. Third, be disciplined. He doesn't chase hype or speculation, instead waiting for the right opportunities. And fourth, reinvest profits. Compounding works best when your returns keep generating new returns, which is why Buffett never spends all his gains but keeps them working. Now, how does this apply to Canadians? Buffett's approach can easily be adapted to our market. Think about Canadian banks like RBC and TD. These institutions have wide moats, long histories of profitability, and consistent dividends. They may not be flashy, but they're exactly the kind of companies Buffett would appreciate. Utilities like Fortis or Emera also fit the Buffett mold: essential services, reliable cash flows, and steady dividend growth. Even broad ETFs that track the TSX or S&P 500 align with Buffett's advice to most investors, because they provide simple, diversified exposure without the need to stock pick. And for Canadians, holding these investments in RRSPs and TFSAs adds a layer of tax efficiency, boosting compounding even further. It's also worth noting what Buffett avoids. He doesn't speculate in things he doesn't understand. He's often criticized for not buying into tech companies early, but his reasoning was simple. He didn't feel he understood them well enough at the time. When he finally invested in Apple, it wasn't because it was trendy, but because he recognized it as a consumer products company with an enormous moat. The lesson for Canadians is the same. Avoid chasing hot sectors, whether that's cannabis, cryptocurrency, or speculative mining stocks, unless you're willing to treat them as pure speculation. Buffett's success comes from focusing on businesses with real, lasting value. Buffett also teaches us that you don't need to be brilliant to succeed in investing. You just need to be rational. He often says that temperament is more important than IQ. Most people fail not because they lack intelligence, but because they can't control their emotions. They buy when everyone else is euphoric and sell when fear sets in. Buffett does the opposite. He buys when others are fearful and holds through downturns. This mindset is especially relevant for Canadians, given the volatility of our resource-heavy market. If you can stay calm when oil prices crash or when mining stocks tumble, you'll be better positioned to seize opportunities. So, how did Warren Buffett become the wealthiest investor in the world? It wasn't luck. It wasn't chasing the latest trend. It was discipline, patience, and an unwavering commitment to value investing. He took Benjamin Graham's principles and refined them into a strategy built on buying quality companies, holding them for the long term, and letting compounding work its magic. Along the way, he showed that wealth isn't about intelligence or privilege. It's about mindset and discipline. And here's the best part. You don't need to be Warren Buffett to learn from his lessons. Whether you're in Canada or anywhere else, you can apply his principles by investing in strong, stable companies, avoiding speculation, and committing to a long-term plan. The tools may be different, RRSPs, TFSAs, Canadian banks, or ETFs, but the philosophy is the same. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into investing, finance, and Canadian perspectives on building wealth, don't forget to subscribe to Magister Factotum and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.